A key application of Installay is to create stability under wood-based flooring products. Let's now watch as John Roberts demonstrates how quick and easy it is to fit a wood floor using the Installay peel and stick system.
Okay, thanks Sean. I'm now going to show you how to install the product, but first I need to talk about the subfloor preparation. This is no special treatment. Basically the floor needs to be dry. If it's not dry, then use a suitable damp-proof membrane. Also, we need to make sure that the floor is level. It doesn't mean spirit level, that means it's flat enough to accept the floor covering you're going to put on top of it. And then it needs to be structurally sound, so they've got not too much vertical movement, because too much vertical movement will have an effect on any sort of floor covering going to fit on the top of the system. Provided you've got those three bits of criteria sorted, then we're okay to start rolling out the underlay and to start installing the product. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to unroll the underlay and show you how easy it is to install and cut. You'll see now that the underlay is not over heavy to lift, it's only approximately 20 kilos in weight, and I'm actually rolling it upside down because that makes it easier for unrolling. You'll see now that we create a little bit of slack in the roll so that we don't actually cut through with our straight blade into the roll underneath. You will notice now that this cuts very, very cleanly, very, very easily. And as you can see, no crumb left after the cutting. It cuts very, very cleanly. I'm now going to show you how we turn it the correct way up. I actually create air underneath so that I can actually move the underlay. You can now see that its natural flock weight keeps it in position. This is also very easy when we're cutting up against the wall. Now I'm going to lay out the second piece, which is the same process. Remember, always leave that little bit of slack so that we don't cut through the underlay underneath. What I have to do now is to make sure that I move it so we get a nice tight butt joint on the underlay. The underlay butts up very tight. This is because it's cut very square and we don't get any gaps, which is very, very good. We don't have to recut any of the joins. Real good feature with this type of underlay system. And now we're going to roll out the rest of the underlay to fill the room, which is exactly the same as we've previously done. We've already acclimatised the wood to reach equilibrium with the atmosphere we're installing the product into. That's quite an important factor. Today we're using a wood from Weitzer, which is an engineered product, but the Installay system is not restricted to one particular manufacturer. You can use solid woods, engineered, bamboo, and even click systems, but this gives much more stability to the joints, particularly in the header joints. I've assumed that you know how to fit wood, so I've already prescribed the boards to the wall and cut them to follow the contours of the wall. What we do now is, taking the wider flap, we turn back a small triangle on each corner, and we turn back the corners on each of the runs of underlay. This is a very high grab, pressure sensitive adhesive on the underlay, as I will show you now. This is very important when you're installing wood because we want a good contact between the wood and the underlay. We've previously cut the boards, and now I'm going to position my boards using the wedges to ensure that I keep my expansion gap, which is important with all wood products. and we place our wedges along the wall to make sure we keep a consistent expansion gap between the wood and the wall. Now always follow the manufacturer instructions for the size of the expansion gap, because different manufacturers will require different expansion gaps. We're now going to start our second row, and this board is what I cut off the other side. Once again, put my wedges in. Once I've got that position, we pull back the film from underneath the board to expose the adhesive. As you can see, this is very simple. I just use the tips of my fingers to actually pull the film away. I can now start to pull back my film. As you can see, this board goes together very, very easily. Some manufacturers' boards are going to be slightly tighter than this, so there's no reason not to use a small knocking block or a knocking block and a hammer to get the joints tight together. We're now continuing our first row just to get right to the very end wall. Remember to put your wedges in to keep a consistent expansion gap. And we now go back and continue our second row. Now we're just going to pull out the film as we did on the other rows. If by accident you happen to expose too much of the adhesive, it's fairly simple. All we do is we roll the film back over near to the board, and that helps us to get the next row of boards in. It's a very easy system, as you'll see as we progress, we're building the rest of the floor. As you can see, it's a very quick and simple installation. The one advantage we've done there, which you may have noticed, is we did not use any adhesive in any of the tongs and grooves. You don't need to use that because the strength of the adhesive on the underlay is more than strong enough to hold the boards in place. I'm now going to show you once again just how I pull the film from underneath the boards. But what you need to take note this time is that I keep one hand on the board so that when I'm pulling the film away, we don't actually separate any of the joints. As you'll see now, you get perfect adhesion every time when you remove the film.
As you've just seen, the Installay peel and stick system provides a fast, high quality installation for all types of wood floors. So why use the Installay peel and stick system for your wood floor installation? Well, Installay isn't harmful to the environment. It's made from tyres that may have otherwise ended up in a landfill. Installay has exceptional acoustic performance. It is also suitable for click systems and T&G boards. It provides a fast installation by avoiding the use of messy adhesives or mechanical fixings. Installay allows for the seasonal movements of the boards and reduces the effect of cumulative gapping. The underlay is porous, so it's suitable for use with underfloor heating systems. And you have the peace of mind because the Installay system is guaranteed.